There's this super fine line, right, between someone we call a visionary and someone we might just call, well, crazy. History is packed with people who saw the world in a totally new way, and they got punished for it. Today, we're going to walk that line and see what it tells us about our own reality.
So let's just start with the big question. Why do we, as a society, have this habit of punishing our most original thinkers? Seriously, the list of people who saw what was next, only to get shut down for it, is long. And frankly, it's pretty unsettling.
I mean, think about Galileo. This guy looks through his telescope, does the math, and comes to a wild conclusion. The Earth moves around the sun. A basic fact we teach to kids. But in his day, for daring to challenge what everyone knew was true, he was basically called insane.
Okay, so that's science. What about art? Take Van Gogh. He didn't just paint a starry night. He painted the feeling of a starry night, all swirling and alive and emotional. But people at the time didn't see a genius. They saw a deranged mind, someone who was literally breaking from reality.
And it's not just in science or art. It's in social progress, too. The suffragists were fighting for a right that seems completely obvious to us now. But for just imagining a world where women could vote, they were called hysterical, irrational, totally out of touch.
So you're seeing the pattern here, right? We look back now from our comfy spot in the future and we call them geniuses. We call them pioneers. But in their own time, no way. They were slapped with these heavy labels: psychotic, delusional, unstable. Their only crime was seeing a truth that society just wasn't ready for.
Okay, so this gets us to the absolute heart of the matter. If we're so bad at spotting genius in real time, what is the actual difference? What separates a visionary from someone who has genuinely lost touch with reality? Is there a test we can use?
All right, let's break this down, because this is the key. A visionary sees the world we all live in, but they see it differently. Someone experiencing psychosis, they see a different world entirely. And the real difference maker is this idea of a feedback loop. A visionary can test their perception against reality. They can build the telescope, paint the canvas, organize the march, and check the results. For someone in psychosis, that feedback loop is broken. The only perception is the only reality there is.
So, it all boils down to this really simple but kind of profound formula. A vision isn't just a wild idea, a hallucination, if you will. It's that wild idea plus evidence. It's that second part of the equation, the proof, that changes everything.
So you see, the true dividing line isn't some fuzzy idea of sanity. That's way too vague. It's something much more concrete. It's connection. Connection to evidence, to a reality that you can actually test. Okay, so if the real test is connection to reality, then why are we so bad at it? Why does society just keep getting this wrong over and over and over again with its most brilliant minds?
Well, here's the kicker. It's because society uses the wrong test. We're not actually checking for that crucial link to reality. We're checking for something much simpler and a lot more dangerous: conformity. The only question we ask is, do you agree with the rest of us?
The process is almost laughably simple and totally broken. Step 1, you see someone with a new idea. Step 2, you ask, do they think like the herd? And if the answer is no, then bam, step 3, you label them as suspect, weird, or, yeah, insane. We don't check their evidence, we just check if they fit in. It's a shortcut that values comfort over truth.
And this is where things get really, really interesting, and honestly a little scary. What happens when the test is conformity? But the crowd itself, the group you're supposed to conform to, is the one that's disconnected from reality.
Well, you get this. You get what you could call a psychotic society. An entire group of people, maybe even a whole civilization, all marching in lockstep, completely untethered from truth.
And believe me, this isn't just some abstract idea. We have seen this play out in the ugliest ways imaginable. Mass delusions that led to burning women as witches or lynching innocent people. And you could argue we see modern versions of it, right? In the way we worship fame, or the way whole groups of people can believe things that are obviously, verifiably false.
And this quote just nails it. When an entire society is caught up in a shared delusion, a collective dream, the sane person, the one who's awake and can still see reality, they suddenly become the enemy. Their clarity is a threat to the comfortable dream, so they have to be attacked. Okay, so let's pull all this together. How do we turn this into a tool, something you can actually use to think differently, and maybe avoid making the same mistakes history has made?
Here's the big takeaway. Maybe we need to rethink what sane even means. True sanity
isn't about fitting in. It's about staying anchored, staying tethered to what's real and what's true, especially when the rest of the crowd is floating away.
So I'll just leave you with this. The next time you come across an idea that seems wild, or a person who seems completely out of step with everyone else, just pause. Before you jump to that easy label, crazy, ask yourself this one simple, powerful question. Are they really detached from reality, or are they just detached from the crowd? The answer just might change everything.